Hey all, Scott here.
I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games!
I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games!
I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games!
You have osteoporosis.
I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games!
4 out of 5 ain't bad. But I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games! The Wii Shop channel is gonna close for good on January 30th, 2019, and I think it's safe to say I'm set for life here. Considering people don't go ballistic and come after me because I have a Wii loaded with WiiWare games.
Hey all, Scott here, and this is bad. Real bad.
Huh. Really makes it easy for anybody to come in and steal my net worth! But at least I don't have to worry about getting brutally killed since I don't have my Wii anymore. I can't live without Leave the Meerkats, I gotta get it back! Yeah, this is officially overstayed its welcome. I've been looking for my Wii for the past day, but it must be like way deep and 500 miles away from here county. Oh shit, it's a Wii. This is mine! It must have been passed around the entire city. Everybody must have been fiercely playing some WiiWare games before the shop channel closed. Oh my god, what have they done to you? I'm no expert on all things abused Wiis, but it looks like this thing's been played to near death. I'd say it looks like you can play about 20 more games before it bites the dust. Let's finish what we started. Now, I've talked about 101 in 1 Megamix more so than anybody else. I've talked about it once, so why not desperately hold on to my record by talking about it again? 101 in 1 Megamix blows. This was one of the games I talked about when rifling through the worst games of all time according to our friendly neighborhood Metacritic, and yes, you've heard it here twice folks, this game is dreadful. This is a port of a DS game and you use the pointer of the Wii remote to do your average everyday Nintendo DS stylus things. Yeah, that doesn't work well with an IR pointer. What's easy with a stylus pen does not equal easy with a Wii remote. On top of that, the minigames themselves, it could be better. It all culminates into this heaping pile of megabytes that is by far the lowest rated WiiWare game of all time. This is something I'll be telling my grandchildren about. Frobot was a key example of an Afro-robot-based puzzle game. You control Frobot walking from room to room and effectively solving puzzles only a Frobot could solve. For some reason, this reminds me of late 90s budget puzzle games for the PC. Oh, it's on the PC. And don't worry, Europe. It's coming. The moment I saw this thing, I knew what was bound to come. Major League Eating the game is everything the Wii bargain bin at Walmart was, but this time in downloadable form. First things first, this game has controls. We use them to play this game and playing results in a win or a loss. Using the controller is the real deal with this game, and the graphics are really something on the screen. Ears? This game uses them by emitting sound, and don't get me started on having a title. This game does that and it does it well. It's Major League Eating the game. Those 5 words do it more justice than I ever could. It's your average horror puzzle game, like Catherine or Wario's Woods. It was developed by WayForward, and these guys can truly make everything, from platformers to puzzle games to Smurfs too. Lit is one of the most interesting WiiWare releases out there. There's really not much else like it. You can only walk across lit areas of the room, and due to that you have to find ways to use objects and the environment around you to light a way from point A to B. It's truly unique, especially considering it's a good old-fashioned everyone 10 and up horror game. Truly something WiiWare needed more of. Video games allow you to escape from normal life, to be something you always wanted to be. With that, let's play Rock and Roll Climber. Finally. This is the last Nintendo published WiiWare game I have, and what a way to stumble out. I can't do this. Rock and Roll Climber proved to me that rock and roll climbing is an acquired taste. So you're climbing this rock wall and you have to select rocks to plop your feet and hands on, and I just can't wrap my brain around these controls. This trailer makes it look easy, but for some reason I can't do this. I could have gotten any other Nintendo published WiiWare game. I could have picked up Bonsai Barber. Watching this trailer is like being stuck inside with Rock and Roll Climber while everybody else is having the time of their lives cutting tree hair. Instead, I'm completely stranded with this. One day into staying inside a cave and only playing WiiWare games, and I'm feeling great. I packed some milk to help sustain myself so I can really take on anything. F this sentence. Now this is every retro enthusiast's worst nightmare. Oh yeah, pixels! Oh f 3D racing! 3D pixel racing is fucking terrifying. Why do I have to change gears? Why is MPH and RPM on the screen? It's 3D pixel racing. Why is this a driving simulator? Also, I had no fucking clue what this game's name was for the first 10 seconds of the title screen. Oh. Now this was what you called a WiiWare game. I remember seeing World of Goo take so many Best of 2008 awards, including Best Wii Game in general some places. Keep in mind, this was the year Mario Kart Wii and Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out, so to see a WiiWare game by an indie developer be so revered was pretty wacky. World of Goo was all about making structurally sound goo bridges from one point to the next, just another Tuesday. One thing I like to see with WiiWare games is a concept that works best on the Wii console, and World of Goo is perfect with pointer functionality. At least in terms of on-home consoles. It is available on PC and mobile devices with mouse and touchscreen controls. 2D Boy and the Tomorrow Corporation are best known for World of Goo, but their other titles maintain the same cutesy but dark, morbid art style. While I played their game Little Inferno more, I still can't deny the great game World of Goo really is. When I dog on a WiiWare game, it's because games like World of Goo really show just how quality a WiiWare game could be. Fast Racing League, Shinen Multimedia spanking Nintendo for the lack of F-Zero. This was the first in the Fast series. I'm sure most people know of it for Fast Racing Neo on the Wii U and Fast RMX on the Switch. Fast Racing League is fundamentally these games with WiiWare diagnosed presentation. Of course, graphically it isn't as nice as Neo and RMX, and definitely not as fast. However, this is still a prime example of a WiiWare game done right. I'm not a fan of motion controls for such fast-paced games like this, but everything still works well enough. If you liked Fast Racing Neo and Fast RMX, this is basically the same game, but older. So you should still definitely pick it up to see where it all started. Holy shit, how did I forget this is happening? Some Japanese Word was a 2D shooter where the developers asked, what if Ikaruga? If you've never played Ikaruga, it's a 2D shoot 'em up where your ship can swap between two colors, with the color of your ship making it so you can absorb bullets of the same color, but take damage from the opposing color. Some Japanese Word does that. Yeah, this is basically a poor man's Ikaruga, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like, it doesn't do anything that bad, it's just... Ikaruga's better? Like, look at these guys. Tell me this is better than Ikaruga. Tell me. Alongside being the name of my journal, My Life as a Dark Lord was a side game in the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles series, and is in the tower defense genre. It's actually a fairly interesting concept. You have to manage and beef up your base as more and more heroes come in and raid it. They'll get held up by enemies you place in each story of the tower, but you have to act quickly if they defeat all the enemies on the floor by placing more enemies or more floors, while ensuring you can afford them. It's actually pretty interesting, and while it gets fairly old after a while, this was one of WiiWare's more robust and solid offerings. Jet Rocket was a unique WiiWare game solely because it felt like an actual game. In a sea of meerkat-leading simulators, Jet Rocket stood out as it was a 3D platformer. A pretty by-the-numbers 3D platformer, but a quality 3D platformer nonetheless. It was developed by Shinen Multimedia too, and I have to say, these guys were the kings of WiiWare. They put out the most high-quality, bang-for-your-buck titles on the service, and not once did they ask me to enjoy my massage. Chik Boom is an interesting case of Flash game gone WiiWare. Similar to Cave Story, you could play this for free on your computer, but a WiiWare version was offered, and this is a personal favorite for many. I mean, look at this, how can it not be? It's Chick versus Chick, and all you have to do is outdo the other by barfing some hearty power-ups to wipe them out. Again, you could have played this for free back then, but this is a game that works pretty well on the Wii.
You know, if you think about it, we don't have it that bad. Like, imagine if we were fish right now. Like, we have it good.
Rage of the Gladiators is like Punch-Out! It's not as good as Punch-Out, but it's like Punch-Out. That's not to say it isn't impressive for WiiWare. Animation and model quality is top-notch for the service, and being like Punch-Out isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not as good. But this part was the loudest I've ever exclaimed, "Look at me go!" in my life. Racers Islands! The world is ending over this shit! Soccer Bashi! Oh man, I love soccer! I love Breakout!
They should just make death illegal.
Mix Superstar is one of the more special games on WiiWare, considering the fact it's not a game, it's a music creation tool where you can lay down tons of crazy music to make tons of big music. The full original version would allow you to export your song to the Mix Superstar website so you could save it forever, but now all this thing is good for is making a song that consists of nothing but come on y'alls. I feel like most people would immediately dismiss this application as there's not a lot of options and it's too limiting or whatever. Yeah, this is a music creation tool for WiiWare. Professionals obviously wouldn't use it even if it were incredibly robust. This was for the young Wii user who might have been interested in making their own music, and in that regard, Make Superstar succeeded. Now, Cave Story was always one of the biggest stars of the WiiWare service. It was one of the first indie games to truly hit it big. It originally released as a free PC title and gained so much traction that Nicholas released an enhanced version on WiiWare. Now, does this excuse the fact that this was a $12 version of a free game? Well, that's debatable. It's not like the content offered doesn't hold $12 worth of value, plus the novelty of officially playing the game on a Nintendo console helped, but it did sting just a little bit knowing really anybody could play it for free. Which is why I never bought it for $12 on WiiWare, I bought it for $30 on Nintendo Switch.
Fucking end the channel already!
Fish 'Em All is an interesting WiiWare release because it just might be the one game I have absolutely the least to say about. What do you want me to say here? Moto Heroes is one of those physics-based 2D racing games. You know, kind of like Trials. This was made by the same developer. Well, Moto Heroes involves everything I love about budget downloadable games from this era. Just quick, bite-sized, addictive arcade fun. I miss this kind of stuff. Nowadays, digital-only titles kind of feel like they're either $20 and pretty high quality, or $2 and what's the point?
Well, we're 10 seconds away from the Wii Shop channel ending. If there's anything I've learned over the past 312 days, Safe Bike Rally was pretty good. The apocalypse immediately stopped after the shop channel closed down. I think everybody realized who the hell wanted to play Rabbit's Lab again. But that doesn't make the channel's closure any less depressing.
The Wii Shop channel was always this magical place to go when you had nothing else to play or just got a Wii Points card burning a hole in your pocket. It wasn't a perfect shopping experience. The purchases were tied to your console, and these seeing eye tests of screenshots didn't help things. But all negatives aside, this was how I could experience gaming history with the Virtual Console, how I could defy the odds of quality control and take a risk with a WiiWare game, or just piss around with a random free Wii channel. This wasn't just a storefront with the sole purpose of showing games that are available to buy. This was the Nintendo way to do a digital shop. It's hard to believe that it's gone. I use this service all the time and it never once crossed my mind that it would be ending someday. It just goes to show how fragile digital content really is. Sure, a lot of the best WiiWare games are available elsewhere, sometimes in physical forms, but what about the ones that will never be released outside of WiiWare? As somebody who adores everything about video game preservation, it kinda hurts to know that there will never be an official way to play a lot of these games moving forward. I mean, thankfully all WiiWare games have been backed up online, but in terms of official releases, this was it. You can't play them anymore without Nintendo giving you the stink eye. But honestly, after playing nearly a third of the entire North American WiiWare library, most of these titles are better left as the games that time forgot. The fact that I can't officially play Sexy Poker anymore kind of adds to its legacy. It makes the game more interesting. But for the original WiiWare games that are legitimately good and deserve to be played for generations, the Wii Shop channel's closure is truly unfortunate. WiiWare will always be remembered as a mixed bag. We got some great titles on the service, some I never even covered. Retro City Rampage, Lost Winds, the Strong Bad games by Telltale, the Art Style series. There was truly a metric ton on WiiWare. But considering the quality of most of the games on the service, and the fact that many of the best games are available elsewhere, have physical copies, or have been succeeded by new games that do fundamentally everything the WiiWare version did and then some, I have one final question. Was the Wii Shop channel closing worth going through this whole apocalypse?
No.